All right, here we are. So let's get into a little bit of breath and let's get into our meditation. So bring your hands together. Take your right hand to your heart. Take your left hand to your belly. Inhale through your nose. Let your belly fill. Exhale with a sigh. Again, inhale through the nose. Let the belly fill. Exhale with a sigh. And then this last one, inhale through the nose. Let the belly fill. When you get to the top, see if you can take another little sip of air and then hold the breath there. Hold it, and release it. All right. Whew. I hope you guys are doing well. Let's take a few minutes and let's get into some meditation. So for meditation, you want to make sure that your spine is straight. So if you're sitting in a chair, you can just move your bottom to the back of the chair. If you're sitting cross-legged on the floor, you might want to sit up on something. The main thing is you don't want to be slouched. You want to have a straight spine. And let's get into it. So you can close your eyes. If you feel better with them open, you can keep them open. Just a little bit of an unfocused gaze. And let's just do palms down for now. So the meditation I'm going to guide you through uses a mantra, and it's a three-part mantra. So on the inhalation, we're going to use the mantra Om. You don't need to say it out loud. You can say it to yourself. I'm going to say it just so you can hear it, so you know what you're saying to yourself. So you're going to inhale Om. So let's just try that breath alone. Inhaling with that Om sound, and then just exhaling normally. And then I want you to try inhaling to the Om sound. When you get to the top, you're going to pause. And in the pause, we're going to say ah. So it's like this. It's ah, but it's internally. The nice thing is that you will feel the internal vibration. And don't worry if you're getting it right yet. We're just kind of getting you set up for it. So you're going to inhale Om, pause ah, and then when you exhale, you're going to say to yourself, home. So you hear the vibration. So it's inhaling that Om, pausing, ah, and then exhaling home. The reason that we do this, those are three powerful mantras. So the first mantra Om you probably heard before is the mantra, sometimes we'll say it's the sound of the universe. It's also the mantra of an enlightened body. And when you think of your body, we want to heal our bodies, to nurture our bodies, to make the best decisions for our bodies. Our bodies also house our spirits, right? However you see that, our bodies are our home. So it's important to take care of the body. The second part of that mantra, the ah, is for our speech. There's so much speech that's taking place, and it's not always honest, it's not always truthful, it's not always helpful. So ah is the mantra of enlightened speech, to heal our words, to have words that are nurturing, to find our voice for ourselves, and also to speak up for others who need our help. And using our words for honesty, for love, for justice, right? So that's Om on the inhalation, Ah on the pause, and then the exhalation is home. So home is the mantra of enlightened mind. So for mental clarity, for focus, for spiritual health, and for joy, right? An enlightened mind is a joyful mind. It's a resilient mind. It's a, and you know, when we say mind, it's a way of thinking, mental place, right? So there are many people who do not have healthy, clear mental health. So sometimes I start using that word mind because that comes from a particular tradition. But when you hear that, it's just your mental health. So we're going to practice this meditation together using those mantras. So you'll be in a comfortable seat, back is straight. Bring your awareness to the crown of your head. Imagine that area is warm and relaxed. Relax the eyes, whether they're open or closed. Relax the face, the jaw. Relax your throat. Let your heart be soft. And then let the shoulders drop. So relax the shoulders, those upper arms, the forearms, and the hands. If you find your fingertips are grabby, you can release the fingers. And then relax the belly, the hips, the buttocks, the thighs, the calves, and the feet. And then just scan your body from head to toe. See if there's any place that you need to adjust or that you need to release. Meditation is an exercise of the mind, not of the body. So being uncomfortable does not win you any points. But again, it is important that the spine is straight. And then let's go into that guided breath. So we're going to inhale the mantra Om. Inhale it right into the center of the heart. And then pause with the breath for the mantra Ah. And then exhale Home. So we're breathing in and out of your heart center, that center place right in the middle of the chest. Each inhale, Om. Pause, Ah. Exhale, Om. Inhale, Om. Pause, Ah. Exhale, Om. And continue on your own. Your breath should be silent. You can feel that internal vibration. Inhaling Om, pausing and holding the breath for Ah, and then releasing the breath with the exhalation. Om. Following that three-part mantra. If you find your mind wandering at all, just redirect it back to your mantra. Inhaling Om, pausing at the top for Ah, and then exhaling Home. Inhaling Om, pausing at the top for Ah, and exhaling Home. Enlightened body, enlightened speech, and enlightened mind. If you find your mind wander, just redirect yourself with love and compassion. Inhaling Om, pausing at the top for ah, and exhaling home. Cycling through that breath. Allowing that vibration to reverberate throughout your body, even though you're not making a sound. Inhaling Om, pausing for Ah, exhaling home. Enlightened body, speech, and mind. Nourishing our physical body, using our words for nourishment, and nourishing our mind. Enjoy a few more cycles of that breath on your own, focusing on your mantra. Enjoy just a few more moments here of peace. And then gently release your concentration. We're going to come back to our normal level of awareness. All right. I love Thursdays. I hope you enjoyed that. So, for today's Mind Blowing Thursday, and my name is Trish Ahjel Roberts, um, I want to talk about how stillness can help you reach your BHAG. And before I jumped on here today, I was talking to my daughter, and I was like, "Do you know what a BHAG is?" She was like, "No." So I was explaining her it's a big, hairy, audacious goal. And it comes from this book, Successful, what's it called? Built to Last, Successful Habits of Visionary Companies, um, which is a 1994 book from Jim Collins and Jerry Paris. I've never read that book. I think that I've heard that term when I was working in corporate, and I also read it in Rachel Rogers' book, We Should All Be Millionaires, which you don't, if you don't have that book, I love that book. Go grab a copy. Um, but the funny thing, my daughter said that we should change it to a big ass goal and get that bag. So whatever works for you, whether you want the big ass goal or if you want the BHAG, whatever it is you're trying to get to. And I gotta say, I do like my daughters. Um, whatever you're trying to get to, I guess maybe I should say, excuse my French, but that's like a really low grade curse, right? It's not bad. But whatever you're trying to get to, that stillness is so critical. You know, I remember seeing Oprah back in like 2008. And I just remember this so well. She was on TV and she was saying, "You've got to get still." And I remember looking at her at the time I was working as a financial advisor. I think I was at Merrill Lynch now that I think about it. But anyway, so I remember looking at her and thinking, what do I need to get still for? I got things, I got things to do. Nah, I don't have time to be still. There is a like a proverb or something where they say that if you don't have time to meditate, then or if you don't have time to meditate for a minute, that means you need to meditate for an hour. Something like that. So that was me back then because I was like, I got all the things to do, but I had all the things to do, but it was like I didn't really know. Like I thought I knew what I was doing, but I didn't really know what I was doing because I hadn't gotten still enough to really understand my own personal limiting beliefs, what was available to me, get in alignment with where my talents are, where my passions are. Like I just hadn't gotten still enough, mainly to break past what I thought was possible for me. You know, we all walk around with these stories and scripts that we live with that tell us what we think is possible. So I was in the yoga class just the other day, and I was telling one of the ladies, there is no way that I would have been able to become an entrepreneur, to start a business that just makes my heart soar if I didn't get still. So let's get into it. How can stillness help you reach your bag or your BHAG, however you want to look at it? So, one thing that happens to me in meditation, and you know, we had a little experience together, and as I do these, I'll try sharing different types of meditations with you guys. But generally speaking, when we meditate, we're telling our mind to do just one thing. And our minds are accustomed to doing lots of different things. Like we used to say, oh, multitasking. And then later the science came back and it's like, well, you really can't do more than one thing. Maybe if you have ADD or ADHD or something, maybe your mind is a little different and you can do more than one thing at a time. But for most of us, we do one thing and then we go to another thing and then we go to another thing. So if we're multitasking, say we're doing five things at one time, I'm drinking my coffee, I'm writing the email, I'm checking my phone, I'm talking to whatever. We're going through this cycle of one thing, one thing, one thing, one thing. We're doing multiple one things. But it creates this kind of flurry for our minds to be doing all these things. And it's pretty normal. You know, you're driving, you're talking on the phone, you're doing different things. So when we meditate, we're asking our mind to do something that it doesn't normally do, which is to really only do one thing. So if we're saying focus on your breath, then that's the only thing that you're going to focus on, and that would be your anchor, right? Sometimes the anchor can be a mantra, like what we did today. So the anchor was, you know, following this mantra. That was the one thing to follow the mantra. We used three mantras today to follow that cycle. So when I sit in meditation and I'm doing the one thing, whether it's the mantra or the breath, usually it's one of those two things. Um, but I'm doing whatever this single activity is for my mind. This stillness emerges. You know, we did this together just for maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. And this can happen in 5 minutes, but I find it happens more if you go a little bit longer, maybe 10, 15 minutes, where you can start to have this clarity where things drop away. You know, your to-do list, what's for dinner, the bills that need to get paid, whatever your boss wants, like all these things that are fighting for our attention. It could even be, you know, what's on TV tonight, or it can be anything. But those things start to drop away as we give ourselves one thing to focus on. And in that dropping away, I like to call it a divine download, or at least the possibility for a divine download. Whatever your relationship is with this idea of God or spirit or universe or whatever, it doesn't really matter. But there is this clarity, and you can get like this really special clarity, or you might have something pop into your mind that doesn't normally pop into your mind from that space. So those are a few ways that that can get you to your goal, right? Because we can't get to a goal if we don't even know what it is, if we haven't created the space to even dream it up. And I think one of the things that people struggle with sometimes with meditation is it's like, well, what's the point? What am I getting out of it? There's a whole bunch of physical health benefits. So that would be a conversation for another time. But when we look at getting that clarity, that room for creativity, it can definitely come from meditation. For me, there are other ways to be still, right? We're still when we sleep. Um, I tell everyone this book, 12 Steps to Mind-Blowing Happiness, that happened when I was sleeping. It was, you know, things that I was working on in my waking life. But the idea that I needed to put these steps together to share with other people happened when I was sleeping. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I wrote them down because I was compelled to do that. And then I went back to sleep. And then the next morning I was like, oh, what did I do? Right? So stillness can come from sleeping, The thing is, a lot of us are not even sleeping enough to have a good, solid night of REM sleep. If you're only sleeping a few hours a night, you may not be getting enough downtime to have not only all the physical benefits, but also the benefits of that clarity, of that creativity, of that inspiration that can happen through stillness. I talked about meditation, I talked about sleep. I talk about yoga a lot. I'm a yoga teacher. I love it. And there are different types of yoga. So many times people think of yoga as, very active and sweaty, and it can be that. But there are also different types of yoga practices that are still, and that is when all the good stuff, well, a lot of the good stuff happens for me. I've had so many profound aha experiences in yoga class being still. So if you're ever looking for like an opportunity to experience that, you can look for yin yoga, YIN yoga. You can look for restorative yoga, or you can look for yoga nidra, NIDRA. And if you go on my website, I do have a yoga nidra practice. There's a button you can click for resources, and it's about 30 minutes, and you can click into that and listen to a yoga nidra practice I have on there. Um, but yeah, yin restorative, I do not have on my site, but you can definitely Google it or look for it in your neighborhood. Um, Another important thing with stillness, and this has been super important for me, I've been a single mother and living on my own since I was 18 years old, and just been in corporate for years and live, in the US. So there's been a lot of opportunity for stress, right? I think we're all kind of in the same situation where life can be really stressful. Stillness can help regulate our nervous system. And I know for me, I really feel it like if I haven't meditated or done some yoga or done something to kind of calm my nervous system down. So it regulates your nervous system. And having these tools, and I really hope that I'm providing tools that are helpful to you, because having these tools in your back pocket are so helpful when things go south. And I mean, things can go, if you live long enough, all kinds of different things can happen. But knowing that you have access to even journaling can be a very still, mentally still practice. Journaling, meditation, we talked about yoga, getting enough rest. All of those things help you reach your goals. And sometimes it's counterintuitive, which is why I was stuck on it when Oprah said what she said. Because I was like, how is being still going to help me? I got things to do. I got to-do lists. I got all the things. Um, but sometimes when you get still, you can take things off your to-do list. You might be able to give tasks to other people, but a lot of times you might find that some of the tasks that you have are not even the tasks that you want to complete if you're really clear about what it is that you are trying to accomplish. So that's it. I hope you found that helpful. Um, oh, wait a minute. I do have a couple more points here. So when you're still, you can hear your inner voice. And this, I think it happens in all the examples that I gave. So whether it's in meditation or being, you know, maybe in a yoga practice, or just, you don't even have to go to yoga. You could just sit still. You could literally just, like, when I'm done with you, see I got a little thing over there. I could go sit there and just be still, as long as I'm not doing something, I'm not on my phone, I'm not reading a book, if I just sit in stillness, it still creates this space for me to hear my inner voice. So when we did yoga teacher training, we would talk about the self with the lowercase s versus the self with the uppercase s. So it's allowing you to hear that kind of inner, smarter self that resides inside of you. And when you connect with that inner self, then you learn to trust yourself more. And in order to do big things, whatever your goals might look like, whatever that big, hairy, audacious goal or that big, bleep, bleep, big ass goal looks like, whatever that is, you need some courage, you need some confidence, you need to trust yourself, trust that inner voice in order to get there. And finally, being still helps you connect with your purpose. What are you even trying to do? What are we here for? Are we here to just like go to work and, get that bag and go home? Or are we here to shine a light? I like to think we're here to shine a light. It's just a lot of times we need to figure out what our light is, and we need to have the confidence to actually shine it. All right. So that's what I had for you today. I have a couple of reflection questions that I want to share. So the first one, you probably heard this before. I know I heard this so many times before I actually um, made real major shifts in my life. And sometimes you have to hear things more than once. So this one, what would you do if you didn't have to worry about money? What would you do if you didn't have to worry about money? Would you sleep all day? Hopefully not. Hopefully you would be in some sort of service to the world, whether it was through creative pursuits or some other way. But what would you do if you didn't have to worry about money? A good way to tap into that is to think about what you love to do as a child. It's always nice to go back into childhood and kind of see what's there. And then the second question is, can you create 5 minutes of stillness today to check in with your bigger vision? Can you create 5 minutes of stillness today? I think you can, to check in with your bigger vision. All right. So let's close out and rub your palms together. We're going to catch a few more breaths together. Take your right hand to your heart. You generate a little warmth here. Take your left hand to your belly. Inhale through your nose, let your belly fill. Exhale with a sigh. Again, inhale through the nose, let the belly fill. Exhale with a sigh. Last time, inhale through the nose, let the belly fill. Hold the breath at the top. Hold it, hold it, and release it. All right. So if you are watching me on YouTube, please like and subscribe to my channel. I would love to get this content out to more people, and liking and subscribing helps the algorithm do its thing. And if you are not getting my newsletter, Mind Blowing Monday 123, what are you waiting for? You can grab it on my LinkedIn page, or you can grab it on my website, sign up there. I would love to share that with you. And when you do that, you'll also get information from me on live events that I'm hosting or places where I'm teaching. So you definitely want to grab that. And you can get it either on trishahjelroberts.com or mindblowinghappiness.com. All roads lead to the same place. You'll get 1 quote, 2 questions, and 3 ways to lead with joy every week. And yeah, and that's it. I wish you guys freedom, alignment, and effortless abundance.